Hi, in this video, we'll try and understand everything about IIT-JAM Economics. Now, IIT-JAM Economics is comparatively a newer field. This is something which has been recently launched, and this is something which has a huge scope in the field of economics. We want to understand what is going to be the exam pattern. We want to understand what would be the syllabus, what is the scope, what are the number of seats, which IIT is offering IIT-JAM Economics. All that information is going to be available in this video. First of all, the first thing that we want to understand is what is IIT-JAM. IIT-JAM क्या है? उसकी क्या importance है? IIT-JAM basically is an exam. It's an entrance exam which is conducted for MSc in IITs. Now, till now, IIT-JAM was specifically for the science fields. It was for, going in statistics, going in mathematics, and doing other PhD programs. But very recently, this is the first year that IIT is going to conduct its exam for MSc Economics in 2021. This is because IIT has realized the importance of economics, and it has started giving importance to the field of economics. All the art subjects, for that matter, have now started getting the importance, the due importance that was lagging behind. So in the coming years, we will see more of economics as a subject, not only for IITs, but also in other institutes. So this is the new beginning of economics in IITs. Now, a lot of people come up and ask, who can give this exam? Am I eligible to give this exam? Now, all people, because this is an exam for masters in economics, anybody who wants to give this exam should have a bachelor's degree. Bachelor's degree किसी भी field में हो सकती है, economics में, commerce में, science में. As long as your bachelor's degree, you have a score of 55% or a CGPA score of 5.5, you are eligible to give this exam. This is for general category. For reserved category, if your score is 5, combined CGPA score is of 5, or 50% in bachelor's, you're eligible to give this exam. Iske alawa, there is no eligibility. Anybody can give this exam. Now, if CGPA is on a different scale, it is definitely going to come out of 10. You have to give something which, if you go to an IIT website, they call it as MEQ. MEQ क्या होता है? MEQ होता है Minimum Education Qualification. मतलब अगर आपको IIT में एडमिशन मिल जाता है, एक प्रूफ देना होगा. You have to give a proof that you have cleared this minimum education qualification. You have cleared the bachelor's degree. आपके पास BCom honors, economic honors, BTech, आपके पास वो डिग्री है, उसका प्रूफ आपको सबमिट करना होगा by September 30th, 2021, after you have cleared the exam and have been provisionally admitted to the course. Now, you also have to submit a physical fitness certificate from a medical practitioner at the time of admission. Which are the institutes in IIT which are providing MSc in economics? अभी के लिए 2 institutes MSc economics provide कर रहे हैं. There are 2 important institutes, IIT Roorkee and IIT Delhi. Now, IIT Delhi says any bachelor degree, and same goes for IIT Roorkee also actually. All that they require is for you to clear the exam. Exam देने के बाद एग्जाम की कंप्लीट कट ऑफ लिस्ट and ranks आएंगी. People will be admitted on the basis of their ranks. So students can come from BSc Stats, Maths, BTech, BA, BCom, any degree, any bachelor's degree, as long as you have got 55% in general category or 50% in the reserved category, and you clear the exam, you clear the cutoff, you have that rank, you will be admitted to the course. So the minimum eligibility requirement, the minimum educational qualification are pretty simple, very easy. Let us now try and understand the syllabus for the exam. The first part of the syllabus is microeconomics. Microeconomics has two parts to it. This is actually the part which is known as, people who come from Delhi University would be well aware of it. This is known as Intermediate Microeconomics Part 1. This is the part where we introduce consumer and producer theory. This is the part that is going to talk about preferences, utility function, indifference curve क्या होता है, budget line क्या होती है, उनका equilibrium कैसे निकलता है. We are going to talk about all of that in detail. Production function क्या होता है, revenue, cost, profit, long run में कैसे होता है, short run में कैसे होता है. We are going to talk about all of that in detail. We are going to talk about what are the variables in short run, what are the variables in long run. So this is Intermediate Microeconomics 1. The second part of microeconomics is Intermediate Microeconomics 2. That is the part which is the second part or the advanced part of economics. In this, we are going to apply the concepts of consumer equilibrium. General equilibrium basically is 2 cross 2 cross 2 economy. We are talking about two consumers. So here we are going to talk about Edgeworth boxes. We are going to talk about what is pure exchange. What are the welfare economics theorems? This is general equilibrium. After that, we are going to talk about market structure, monopoly, oligopoly, monopolistic. What is the difference between these three? What is first degree price discrimination, second degree price discrimination, third degree price discrimination? Very, very important topic from the point of view of exam. This is the third part of economics, which talks about game theory. This is in itself a new, not a new, but it's a separate part of microeconomics in which we talk about Nash equilibrium. We talk about strategies. We talk about dominant strategy, dominated strategy, different examples. And we talk about duopoly. तो यहां तो monopoly cover हुआ. But अगर दो firms है तो वो बन गई duopoly. और duopoly में कैसे हम game theory को apply करेंगे? Coonot model, Bertrand model, Stackelberg model. That is something that we are going to do in game theory. Finally, the last part of microeconomics is public economics and market failure. Here, we are going to talk about externalities. We are going to talk about public goods, because all of these are market failures. And we are going to talk about how to deal with market failure. This is the first part of economics, which is microeconomics, divided into 4 main subtopics. The second part of economics is macroeconomics. Macroeconomics, again, is divided in many parts. The first part is the general part. This is the basic macroeconomics. This is very related to principles of macroeconomics. This is something that people have done in their class 11th and 12th economics also. Very basic, starting with that. So we talk about what is national income accounting. What is GDP? In GDP, what are the various ways of calculating GDP? What is income method? What is expenditure method? What is product method? We do that. That's the first thing, key concepts. Then we go ahead and we talk about the circular flow of income. How does money flows into the economy? What comes in? What goes out? What is leakage? What is injection? So we talk about all of that. What happens in closed economy? What happens in open economy? Then in the second part, we talk about, this is the second part, where we talk about the consumption functions. We talk about the various types of hypothesis. What is hypothesis of, what is permanent income hypothesis? What is life cycle hypothesis? We talk about investment function. The third part is business cycles and economic models. This is the second, it can be called the second part of macro, in the sense that this is an intermediate level of macro. Actually, this becomes intermediate macro 1. This becomes intermediate level of macroeconomics 2. This is also intermediate macro. So, you know, in this right here, this IISLM model is very important for all master's exams, for all entrance exam. Very, very important, not only for IIT, but also for any kind of entrance exam related to economics. IISLM model is the starting point. Then we talk about business cycles. And here, yet again, we talk, and you know, this is very, very important yet again, which is the Mundell-Fleming model. This is actually something which is very important from the concept of international economics also. Finally, we talk about what is inflation, what is Phillips curve, how is inflation related to unemployment rate. And this part, the last part, is actually a part of development economics. Where we talk about Harrod-Domer model, talk about Solow model, etc. And you know, I will give you the equation for Harrod-Domer and Solow model, because a lot of times equations will also come. The next part that we want to discuss is statistics. In statistics, we are going to talk about the probability theory. What is conditional probability? What are the independent events? What is a sample space? We are going to talk about point interval and point estimation and interval estimation. We are going to talk about hypothesis testing, something which is very, very important for any entrance exam. Very important. What is Z test? What is T test? F test? chi-square test? What are these tests? What are their distributions? Which is symmetric? Which is non-symmetric? We're going to talk about that. What is type 1 error? What is type 2 error? What is p-value? What is betas? What are the tests for comparing parameters? We're going to talk about what is confidence interval. What is the, you know, how do you estimate using methods of movement and method of maximum likelihood procedure? Which method is better, movements method or maximum likelihood method? We're going to talk about the density and distribution functions. How do you find expected values? How do you find out jointly distributed random variables? All this is going to be covered as part of statistics. The next part, which is very theoretical and, you know, would require thorough revision of notes, is Indian economy. In Indian economy, we are going to talk about the phases of development. What happened in 1950s? What happened in 1960s? When did Green Revolution came? When did LPG came? Then we are going to talk about when did nationalization of banks took place? What happened with the banks? What were the various planning models? Which was the planning model in which we said that we want to go and develop the manufacturing sector? What is the relationship between agricultural and industrial growth? Why do we say that we missed the middle? Why and how did India just went from agricultural to the service sector, missing the manufacturing sector? What was the BOP crisis that took place in 1991? What are the fiscal deficits? What are the banking crisis? What is credit reserve ratio? What is statutory liquidity ratio? What about inequalities? What about poverty? How do you calculate inequality? What is Gini's coefficient? We're going to talk about all of that. What are the methods of poverty estimation? What is absolute poverty? What is relative poverty? All that. When we talk about labor market, what is labor force participation rate? How is labor force participation rate different from population? What is natural level of unemployment? What is natural level of employment? Corresponding to natural level of employment, what is natural level of output? So we're going to talk about all of that in detail in Indian economy. The last part of the syllabus is where we talk about mathematics for economics. The first part of this is going to talk about set theory and number theory. This is where we are going to introduce sets. We are going to introduce functions. We are going to introduce derivations, derivatives. What is first order derivative, second order derivative, higher order derivative. The second part is where we understand what are convex functions, concave functions. What is linear algebra? Very important from any entrance exam point of view. What are vector spaces? What is linear transformation, matrix representation, system of linear equation, etc. The third part is where we are going to talk about function of several real variables. What is a homogeneous function? How is it different from a homothetic function? What are the characteristics of the two kinds? What is implicit function theorem? Very, very important. Then we are going to talk about multivariate optimization. And finally, we are going to talk about linear programming and integration. Now, let us try and understand what are the number of seats that we have. For IIT Delhi, the total number of seats that we are looking at is 25. 9 in general, non-PWC, 1 PWC, 2 EWS, 7 OBC, 4 SC, 2 ST. And in IIT Roorkee, the total number of seats that we are looking at is 33, out of which 13 is non-reserved and others are reserved. So the total number of seats that we are looking at is 58 seats for MSc Economics. Let us now try and understand what is going to be the pattern of the exam. See, there are three sections, section A, B, and C. A has MCQs. MCQ will have exactly one correct answer. B is MSQ, multiple select question. This is multiple choice question. Multiple select question can have more than one correct answer. You will get marks only if you mark all the correct options. So it can have more than one correct option. 2 या 3 भी सही हो सकते हैं. आपको marks सिर्फ तब मिलेंगे अगर आप सारे options जो correct होंगे उनको mark करेंगे. Only then you're going to get that mark. The third is N80. This is going to be numerical questions. These are the subjective question kind of things. So this is related to numericals. Again, you don't have to, go ahead and write it down. Everything is going to be on a computer screen, but these will not have options per se, but these would be numerical questions. Now, let us try and understand, here you have to go ahead and mark using the keyboard of the, using the virtual numeric keyboard. You cannot use the keyboard of the computer. You will be given a virtual keyboard that will appear on the screen and you just have to use that. In section A, there will be 10 1-mark questions. So this is 10 marks. And 22 marks questions. So this will be 40. So section A will be for 50 marks. 10 will be 1-mark questions. 20 will be 2 marks questions. There is negative marking in section A. So if you do a question wrong, which is a 1-mark question, 1/3 would be deducted. 1/3 will be deducted. So if you do a wrong answer, 1/3 gets deducted. There is negative marking. If you do a wrong answer in 2 marks question, 2/3 will be deducted. So section A is MCQ. 10 questions, 1 marks each. If you do wrong, 1/3 deducted. 20 questions, 2 marks each. If you do wrong, 2/3 deducted. And total number of questions will be 30 in section A. And total number of marks allotted to section A is 50 marks. Section B, which is multiple select questions, no 1-mark question is there. Only 10 2 marks question will be there. So this is for 20 marks. There is no negative marking and no partial marking. Means if there are supposedly one question has 4 options and 3 options are correct. If you mark only 2 options or if you mark only 1 option, you will not be given marks. अगर 3 ऑप्शंस करेक्ट हैं 4 में से, तो तीनों को मार्क करने पर ही मार्क्स मिलेंगे, वरना उस आंसर के लिए आपको 0 मिलेगा. सो नेगेटिव मार्किंग नहीं है पर पार्शियल मार्किंग भी नहीं है. मार्क्स सिर्फ तब मिलेंगे अगर आप उसके सारे ऑप्शंस पर आंसर मार्क करते हैं. अगर आप वो सारे ऑप्शन सेलेक्ट करते हैं, इफ यू सेलेक्ट ऑल द ऑप्शंस, यू वुड बी गिवन मार्क्स. Now let's go to the last part, which is NAT, which is numerical based. This has 10 1-mark questions. This is 10 marks and 10 2 marks question, which is 20. So this is for 30 marks. In NATs, question will be entered using virtual numerical keypad. These are numeric questions. You have to use keypad for it. Now, so 50 marks section A, 20 marks section B, 30 marks section C. So total is 100 marks for 60 questions to be done in 3 hours. There is a provision of online virtual calculator also. Students do not have to carry any calculator with them. They will be also given a scribble pad for rough work, and this also has to be returned at the end of the exam. All the 3 sections are compulsory. तीनों sections ही attempt करने हैं. Questions in each section have to be attempted. There is also negative marking, so while attempting you have to be very sure. Which you don't, the questions that you don't attempt, supposedly इसमें 10 में से आपने 2 question attempt नहीं किए, you will be marked 0. सही attempt करा 1 marks, गलत attempt किया -1/3. Again, for section 3, no negative marking. Section D, no negative marking. Section A, there is negative marking. So this is the pattern of the test paper. If you have any doubts, you can connect with us, and we would be ready to solve all your doubts. Thank you.